Okay, so let's get back to the the competition we've all been waiting for, the CoCo competition, this new edition, where we are going to see to be able to compare Confluence tools. I leave the microphone to Art, who is going to be chairing this session.
Thank you, Samuel. Yeah, welcome everyone to the Confluence competition. This is the 10th edition, so anniversary. The names on the slides are the steering committee of the Confluence competition. And if you click on this link, you go to the website that we maintain, and on the top you see a link to the live competition that will start in a few moments. But first, I give a bit of history. And before that, I do some acknowledgements. So the main part is 2021, and I conclude with the outlook towards next year. Okay, first of all, a competition cannot be run by the serious effort of tool builders. So without tools, there is no competition. So a big thanks for the CoCo 2021 tool offers. So if you ever build a tool or are involved in supervising a tool builder team, you know this is a serious effort and that needs sustained effort. So this is really appreciated. Next, sitting next to me is Fabian Mitterwallner. Without him, we would not be able to run this competition on star exact because that needs very dedicated skills, which is very rare. Then, thanks to Samuel and Camillo for allowing us to present this competition in this IWC slot. Also, thanks for giving us the opportunity to have papers in the proceedings. And every CoCo has a panel of external experts. This year, that's Dieter Hofbauer, Koji Nakazawa, and Femke van Raamsdonk. They provided a digit that controlled the selection of the problems, and equally important, in case conflict appears in this hour during the live competition, they have to judge who is the winner. And in previous CoCos in the past, we did have conflicts. Okay, now for those of you who don't know the conflicts competition, I give a short history of the 10 years that CoCo has been conducted. So we started in 2012 with Confluence of Terminal Writing, that's the TRS category up here. And at the same time, we started the certified TRS category, the CPF. And initially there were 3 Confluence tools, ACP from Japan, CSI from Innsbruck, and Saigawa, different team in Japan. And the certifier, like in the termination competition developed by René Thiemann in Innsbruck. Then the next competition, status quo, not much happened. But then in 2014, we introduced the category conditional terminal writing with 2 participating tools, ConCon, Innsbruck, and Co3. That was a joint effort of Nagoya University and Technical University Vienna. And so you see here still much red and white, and COL was another tool from Japan, the JIST group joining the TRS category. Then 1 year later, there was much development. So a higher order category was introduced, HRS, ground confluence made its appearance, and there was a category on nominal rewriting, which is still highly relevant given the amount of talks in this week. And tools, Coast Guard from Vienna, higher order ACP, higher order CSI, then the ground confluence prover from Tohoku, currently Niigata. And we had the first nominal confluence tool, NoCo, developed in Tohoku. Then 1 year later, we added a unique normal form category, and we introduced certification for conditional rewriting. And we had a new, or maybe a renamed tool for nominal rewriting, and Ford made its first appearance. But still, this is very much an Austria-Japan effort. Then 2017, the unique normal form category was split in the standard subcategories, so 2 different versions of unique normal forms with respect to conversion and reduction, and also the NFP property. And there was a new higher order tool, Sol, developed by Hamana in Guma University. Okay, and then it became really international because the author of the higher order version of CSI moved to London and took the tool with him. But apart from that, no developments in 2018. Then the next big change happened 3 years ago, 2019. You can see lots of new tools in the columns and also new countries. So we had a tool from Spain, InfChecker, which is still going strong. A tool from Germany, NoCo Leipzig, and more tools from Austria and Japan. Right, now in 2020, okay, this thing is blocking. What did we have in 2020? No new categories, but Sol made a reappearance and Ford was renamed. I think that's also important. Right, so that was the history. And before we start the competition, some comments on CoCo. So it's powered on Star Exec. Many of you have heard of this name, and actually CoCo was the very first competition to try out Star Exec. It's very exciting to watch this live event. I hope you will share this feeling after this hour. And these pictures I took in 2019. So this is pre-COVID, so this is not the current situation. But at that time we were at TACAS, and TACAS is typically not the place where IWC or FSCD takes place. Right, and why is it exciting to watch? Because sometimes we have real-time yes-no conflict. So we don't know what will happen this hour, but excitement means conflicts. And actually in 2019, there were conflicts in 3 categories, 2 newly introduced. So infeasibility, commutation, and timber writing. Okay, then in 2019, I announced that the next CoCo would take place in Paris. That indeed did happen, but not intended, but virtual. We decided to have separate winners for yes and no, in addition to the combined category. So that simply means more winners, because we like to make everyone happy so that they return to the competition. And I announced a new t-shirt for participating tool authors. So concerning t-shirt, that's an idea, of course, we borrowed from the famous CASC competition. So in 2019, my daughter designed this, and that was very relevant because of the conflicts in higher order. That's why you have this volcano with exploding coconuts and lambdas. And of course, the point of confluence is to find this treasure thing. So we had a virtual thing, so there were no t-shirts to distribute. My daughter came up with this design that also clearly has a resemblance to Confluence. Now I asked her again for this year, but she decided to move to Japan instead to study. And yeah, this is an unfinished design. So yeah, this should symbolize Tango, so the location of the real event. Right, but that's about the past. So now looking towards this year. So actually I have a second screen here on my left. So in parallel to this event, we have the opening ceremony of the real Olympics. That's a much bigger game than CoCo. Now I was hoping that all the athletes entered and were introduced. That happened, but now we wait for the emperor to open the games. And I think we cannot afford in this hour slot to do the same. So I show this slide and then I click here and then the competition will officially start. Right, and so now for those of you who have access to the internet, if you click on this link, you see indeed the competition has started. So what you see here, we have the categories in boldface, so TRS, commutation, SRS, and if you scroll down, you see the other categories. You have the participating tools, and the important thing are the colored bars here. So a green means a yes answer, a blue means a no answer, and maybes are gray. And conflicts are also indicated, but I think at this early stage, there are no conflicts. So during this, our presentation, we often look back. Right, so that about CoCo graph. And so what is happening in 2021? So the categories we announced we keep the same, but we lost some tools and we had some new tools. So there is a new tool from Spain, Confident. There is a new tool from Innsbruck, Fortify, and there is a new tool from Japan, NUT. And if you look closely at this participant entry table, you see all the higher order tools dropped out. So yeah, we unfortunately had to decide there is no higher order category this year, but of course we hope to revive this in future years. The other thing, so CoCon, which was always a prominent participant in the CTRS category, the authors left academia and decided not to submit a new or the same version for this year. That's no problem for the conditional category because we have enough tools, and but CoCon was the only tool that produced certificates that can be checked by an independent certifier, CETA in the case of the Confluence competition. And that means this entry, CETA was submitted, but there was no tool producing certified output. So we unfortunately also had to cancel the CPF CTRS category. Right, so this is the slate of the participants. And what I will now do, I will go into each of the categories, comment on last year, and then give the tool authors possibility to present their tool. Right, so the categories, well, I already mentioned, I will say a bit more on them when we proceed. So the ones dropping out this year were higher order and certified conditional rewriting. Concerning the rules of the competition, maybe that's important to remark because that's maybe different from other competitions. So first of all, scoring. So we don't run the tool on every single problem in the database. To make this manageable in this live slot, we select 100 problems per category. And the selection is randomized based on the digits provided by the panel members. Tools are required to output yes or no or maybe on the first line, followed by a proof that is understood by human experts or machine checked by CETA. I already mentioned we have separate rankings for yes, for no, and for the combined yes, no answers. And that was introduced last year. So the winning tools of the previous competition participate, not to win, but as demonstration tools in the current competition. And that is to measure progress. Then there is the option before the competition to submit secret problems. And typically that's done by tool authors if they have a challenging problem that only they can solve, or maybe they spotted a bug in another tool. Then this is typically done by submission of a secret problem. So they are guaranteed to be selected in the competition. And we put a upper bound on the number of problems that can be submitted per tool per category. And this year, 4 such secret problems were submitted. And the shortest one, the smallest one that fits on this slide, is this conditional one. So there's a conditional system. First rule, fx to gb. Second rule, fx to ga, provided, so this is the condition, gx rewrites to x. So this equality sign is interpreted as orientability. What happens if incorrect output is observed? So that happens, of course, if we have a real-time yes-no conflict. But also tool authors occasionally approach the SC after the competition that they spotted mistake themselves, maybe not in the selected problems, but by observing how other tools did. And if they communicate that to us, then yeah, they cannot be in the results table of the competition. So they are excluded, but a few weeks after the live event, we have a full run of the competition where every participating tool has a chance to submit a corrected tool to run in the full competition. And all these results are publicly available. Right, what happens moreover after a competition? So the tools are made available to the whole community via the CoCo web interface. So here you see a screenshot, and here you see a particular string rewrite system that was submitted as secret problem in 2019 by Johannes Weltman in the SRS category. And this is really a convenient tool. So if you have a problem and you don't know whether it's Confluent or not, in whatever format, you should always try the tool that are accessible via CoCo web. Right, and then you can select, for instance, we want to check confluence of this system. Then on the left, you can select which tools should be run from which year. So here I choose the tools that run in SRS category of 2019. And the reason I do that because NoCo Leipzig, the tool of Johannes, participated once, and that is still the only tool that can disprove confluence of this system. So I'm not sure whether Johannes is listening, but if he is listening, please join again. Okay, and the other nice thing in CoCo is the database of confluence problems. That's also very well maintained and designed, mostly by Hirokawa and Shintani from JIST. And yeah, here you see, I mean, I will not talk more about it, but this is also a very useful way to get a pre-selection of problems in which you want to apply your methods or tools. Okay, now let's go back to the live view, and then we come to the categories. So yeah, there is some progress. So what we see here in TRS, we have a couple of participants. This CSI 2020, that's the winner of last year, and that is ahead in the yes, but behind in the no's. But the way star exec runs, I mean, this doesn't mean that the tools have been run on the same problems. At the end, they have all been tested on the same problems, but during the competition, that's not guaranteed. Here we have commutation that seems close between ACP and COL. This also looks close, the SRS category. Here we have conditional term rewriting that's very close between 4 different tools. In feasibility, InfChecker is the strongest tool. That seems to be the case also this year. NFP, that's a local Innsbruck competition. UNC ACP is typically ahead. Right, closely followed, hopefully, by CSI. Then UNR, that's again Innsbruck thing. Ground Confluence, ACP seems to be, the ground version seems to be far ahead. And certified term rewriting, that's ACP and CSI, both teaming up with CETA. And right. Okay, so now I come to the individual categories, and then the tool authors get their shot to highlight their tool. Right, so let's first look at the TRS category. So TRS category is a very closely contested category. Typically, the winners alternate between ACP and CSI, and Cole Saigawa is trying to catch up. So if we click on the official results table, say in 2020 TRS, it was very close. So CSI had 1 more yes and 1 more no compared to ACP. So was declared a winner. But if you look 1 year earlier in 2019 in the TRS category, ACP had 2 more yeses and 2 more no's. So it of course depends on developments in the tools, but also on the selection of the problems in the database. And what I just observed, so Shintani-san implemented new functionalities. So now also in the results table, the current competition is updated real time. So if you look at the TRS, okay, at least the table is there. The results are not yet in. Okay, that's about the results page. So coming back to the TRS category. So last year, CSI reclaimed the top spot. And this year we have a new participant, actually 2 new participants. So Confident, 2 from Spain. And Fortify, that's a certifier for the output of Fort H. So there we don't expect much, but Confident, it might be interesting. So now I would like to ask Aoto Sensei if he is present to present this slide.
Okay, hi. So this is Takahito Aoto. I will introduce ACP2. Now it's a entrance written in standard ML of New Jersey, and the recent version was rate 0.70 in 2019, and we have implemented multiple direct methods and divide and conquer methods. So, and recent development, most recent development was the FSCD 2020's implementation of the results about UNC FSCD 2020 papers. And we couldn't make any effort on ACP this year. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next up is Cole Saigawa. So I don't know who presents this. Okay, please.
I will present. Cole Saigawa is developed by Kirak Shintani and me, Hirokawa. Actually, Shintani-san developed a core tool for left linear TRSs. And Cole Saigawa is actually just a conference tool for arbitrary TRSs. And this tool checks conference by using Cole if input is left linear system, and otherwise Saigawa is used. So this is just somewhat combined tool of these 2 tools. But this year we didn't change any features. So basically the power is same as before. Can you go next page? Right. So because we didn't change anything this year. So this is actually the new feature we presented last year, the competition. We implemented Oyamaguchi and Ota's upside and outside closedness, and also next one. Next one,
okay.
Yeah. Right. Oku is simultaneous critical pairs, and Toyama's parallel closedness criterion based on parallel critical pairs. Right, I think that's it. Yeah.
Thank you. Next, CSI will be presented by Fabian.
Hello, I hope you can hear me. Yes, CSI is a long-time participant, of course, of the competition, this year in version 1.2.5. On the next slide, you can see a satellite image of a location here in Innsbruck, which is very important to the name of the tool. It's the confluence of 2 rivers, the sill coming from the south and the inn coming from the west. Hence, we have the name CSI. And we come in version 1.2.5. So CSI is a decision tool for confluence and other related properties. It's open source, and it also comes with a convenient web interface. Both an executable, the source, and the interface can be found at this link here. Last year, we've competed in these 6 categories, and in 5 of them, we came in first place, which is nice. And this year, we're competing in the exact same categories as last year. What is new this year, we've extended the upside parallel closure criterion, also seen before by Kosegawa, based on this paper by Oyamaguchi and Ota, to also include the root overlap condition. And we've also implemented an additional criterion for outside closed system, which is in the yes here, also for Confluence. That's CSI. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, the next category I want to talk about is the certified TRS category. So there the two tools, ACP and CSI, team up with CETA, the certifier. And so CETA is next. René.
Yes, welcome. I have the honor to present CETA here in its version 2.40. And if you go to the next slide, then you will actually see, of course, that I did not develop CETA on my own, but the Confluence part was heavily built with the whole team in Innsbruck. So with Bertram, Julian, Chris, Tom, Sarah, Agisa, and Harald. It's a certifier, so it does not build proofs on its own, but it actually just checks them. And with a high reliability, namely everything that CETA does has been verified via the theorem prover Isabel Hall. And it supports some of the techniques. You can see a complete list and get access to CETA here at the URL that you see in the middle of the slide. And unfortunately, there hasn't been any Confluence technique added to CETA in comparison to the last year, though you know that Confluence is useful for proving termination and vice versa. So both of these parts of CETA are intertwined. And actually, there has been a little bit on improving the support for termination proofs, namely that the weighted path order now is also available in a flavor where you do multi-set comparisons in addition to lexicographic comparisons. And in particular for NUT, this might be interesting to improve, to have more termination proving power by better WPO support.
Thank you. Right, then we come to the CTRS category, where traditionally ACP, CONCON, and CO3 participate. So in 2019, there was a conflict, so CONCON was disqualified, but it regained the top spot in 2020. And in 21, there is a new participant, which was already mentioned when I talked about the TRS category, but its focus is on CTRS. So I think let's hear about Confident before I show results. Sorry, first CO3 in this order. So Nishida-san, please.
Yes, can you, wait, okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I introduced my tool CO3. So I implemented this tool as a converter of conditional terminating system into unconditional system. And I implemented a function to prove confluence and recently infeasibility of deterministic CTRSs. And this year I implemented a function to reduce confluence of join or semi-equational CTRS to that of oriented ones. And this is, so this doesn't affect CTRS category, but I hope this has a small improvement for infeasibility. And our technique is based on narrowing trees for infeasibility and unraveling transformation for confluence. Yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. And then, as announced, Confident. I don't know who is presenting this, Raul or Salvador?
Me. Yes. I present the tool. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Well, this year we present this tool that is confident. You can go to the next slide. Yeah, the idea is that from the good results we had last year and the last 2 years with INF checker, we try to use the same ideas to extend to prove or disprove Confluence. The idea that we have developed a tool that can prove a conditional term rewriting system, content sensitive and conditional content sensitive, and string rewriting and term rewriting, variants of term rewriting systems. The idea is the same as we have done these last years, is to transfer to use the logical representation of rewriting to, yeah, you can go the last one. Yeah, it's great. Yes, to use the logical representation of rewriting to interpret the relation symbols as predicates. Then you can interpret the rewriting as one relation and the reflexive and transitive form of using another interpretation. Then you can use, when you have the logical representation, you can use theory improvers, you can use SMT solvers, you can use whatever you want in order to prove unverified properties. In this case, local confluence and confluence is quite nice to be represented in this logical way. So we will see what we have in this competition this year. And yep, the slides are there.
Okay, thank you. Right, so maybe we should have a look maybe at the results. So if I move this out of the way, if you click on this coconut, or if I click, we can go back to the live results. So, okay, we have significant progress. So in the TRS category, CSI seems, I mean, the telling thing are these percentages, so seems to be slightly ahead of ACP. In commutation, it's too close to call. In string rewriting, CSI is slightly ahead of ACP. CTRS, ConCon is ahead of Confident, but Confident seems stronger than Co3 and ACP, so that seems interesting. And right, the other categories, let's talk about them right now. Right, so the ground confluence category, we have special version of ACP, HECP, and Fort, which is a decision tool. And Fort is now producing certificates, and that's these are read and checked by Fortify, so that's a new participant here. Right, so Auto Sensei, can I ask you again?
Yes, so this is one. This is a description of HCP, and it is basically it's a tool for grand conference and for many sort TLS, and our technique is based on rewriting induction for bounded compatibility and some equivalent transformation and disproving methods. So, and two technique of our tool is basically based on this paper, FCD 2070. So we couldn't make any efforts on the HCP this year. So that is, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next category, NFP, that's the normal form property, that's a restriction of Confluence, so in between Confluence and UNC for the experts. And traditionally 2 participants, CSI and Fort H. And right, Fort H. Fabian again.
All right, yes, Fort H, the name comes from the previous tool already implemented here at the University Fort, and H just stands for Haskell. Fort H is a decision tool for the first order theory of rewriting. So it takes 2 inputs, first a property and also a term system. And then it determines yes or no if the property holds. for the given terminal system. And of course, it can also run out of resources. The important part of this tool is that the property can be given as an arbitrary first order formula in this theory of rewriting. And the terminal systems are limited to linear variable separated rewriting as the theory is decidable for this subset of systems. This is the second year, I believe, that we compete with Fort H. Last year, we competed in these 5 categories here. And interestingly, we got the most yes results for UNR, even though we can only work on this limited subset of systems. So that was quite exciting for us. And this year, we're also competing in the exactly same categories as last year. This is part of the slides from last year, where we describe the difference between Fort H and Fort. And the important line here is the last one. We hoped to be able to generate certified results using Fort H. And indeed, we succeeded. We can now produce certificates, which are then checked by Fortify, another tool, part of this competition, and will be described later. Other improvements for Fort H this year is we have implemented some optimized signature extension results, which will be presented in this session, in the slot after CoCo. This is needed to extend the ground properties to the properties we have in the competition. And Jamie Hochreiner, as part of her bachelor thesis, improved the automata construction by constructing smaller automata in a faster way. This is done by earlier elimination of epsilon transitions from the tree automata we use. If you're interested in having a look at Fort H and also Fortify, this is the link where you can find executables and descriptions of the tools. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Then we come to UNR, again, Fort H, and this time it's CSI. And Fortify joins Fort H also for this category, so maybe it's time to talk about Fortify. Alexander, please.
Hi, everyone. As you just saw the setup of Fort H, now we add a component to it. This component we call Fortify. So as Fabian just mentioned, Fort H now produces certificates which incorporate basically inference steps which prove the claim that the formula holds or does not hold for a given term rewrite system. And now our fortifier will take all these inputs and then either state yes, the certificate is valid, or an error. For example, input error or the formula is not valid. But why should we now trust our fortifier instead of simply trusting Fort? It's a tool over a tool. Well, Fortify it was formalized in Isabel Hall, and the main part will be done by a code generated using Isabel Hall's code generation facility. The only part which is handwritten is the translation of the input to the data types which we obtain from the code generation facility. And as you see, we proceed nearly in the same categories as Fort H does. One is missing, that's NFB. As for this one, there's still formalization effort open to do from my side. And like just mentioned, the main function which check the correctness are code generated. And you can see the details in the paper certifying proofs in the first order theory, which we presented in DACAS 2021. And in the following link, you can get a copy of our fortifier.
Thank you. Okay, then UNC, that's where ACP rules and all tools were already introduced. So maybe let's have another look at live data. Right, so still some problems to be done. This is still very close. Commutation 49, 48 between call and ACP. Then SRS, that is somewhat expected. CTRS, confident, is catching up, so that turns out to be an exciting race. In feasibility, no surprises. NFP, no surprises. UNC, here, much problems actually are solved by the tools, especially by ACP and CSI. CSI has more node than ACP. Okay. UNR, that's, I mean, because of the restrictions on the decision tool Fort, I mean, CSI is expected to win this. For the same reason, GCP has no real opposition in the ground confluence category. And in the certified TRS category, CSI simply supports, I mean, CETA supports more techniques implemented in CSI than in ACP. Okay, back to the presentation. Commutation is next. So we have call that was part of call Saigawa, but call is a separate tool, so will be presented in a moment. That's a designated tool for commutation. ACP joined this a few years later, and Fort H can also model commutation. And last year we had the first win for ACP, so traditionally call wins here. And as we have seen a moment ago, this is very close this year. And yeah, Fort we have no certified code, so we also couple with Fortify. Okay, so I give the floor to Shintani-san to present.
Aart, I don't know if you have seen there is a question in the chat. So
no, I have.
So is there a reason why Fort H plus Fortify is participating to standard TRS, but not in TRS?
Yes, I can answer that. So of course, I mean, Fort H is very limited, so we don't expect any impact, but we wanted to know, are there problems that we can prove and certify which are beyond ACP and CSI in connection with CETA? That's the only reason. Does that answer the question? Right, I think that should answer the question. Okay, now I hand the floor to Shintani-san.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, we hear you.
Okay, and CORE is a commutation tool for left linear TRSs. It is based on, please go to the next page. Okay, at first, for input to TRSs, check its confluence by few confluence criteria. But if confluence cannot be determined by such a criteria, we try to decompose the inputted TRSs to its subsystems by using hindrance commutation lemma. And finally, we try to divide and conquer approach to show the commutation. Okay, please go to the next page. This slide is previous conference slides. In this year, we did not implement the new criteria, but we re-implemented the two commutation criteria. At first, please go back one step, okay. Last year, we described that CORE newly implemented one commutation criteria and four self-commutation criteria. But in this year, we show that Toyama's almost parallel closeness is completely subsumed Toyama's parallel closeness for parallel critical pairs. And we generalized that criterion to the commutation version. And the second is, oh, I'm so sorry. Okay. We generalized simultaneous closedness. But this slide, there is two mistakes. Third one and fourth one, upside parallel closeness and outside closeness is not yet conference criteria. Sorry. So finally, in this year, we did not implement the new criteria, but also modified two conference criteria, extension of parallel closeness and simultaneous closeness to conference commutation criteria. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Then we come to infeasibility that was introduced in 2019, and that's the most contested category. So both in 2019 and 20, we had 6 participating tools from different sites. And InfChecker dominates this category. And so let's here, click here. And we have a new participant for INF, the NUT tool, which some of you may know from the termination competition. So let's first hear about InfChecker. Raul?
Hi. Yes, I would like to say that this tool is just the same as the last year, but I forgot to say that two important things. One is that Miguel is the guy that powered Confident. That is our master thesis student. Okay, Miguel Vitores.
Thank you.
And the tool is, well, the good performance is all thanks to him that implemented the tool. Confident is powered by InfChecker. InfChecker is the tool that allows us to check feasibility and infeasibility, and we know that the joinability of critical pairs can be checked using the feasibility conditions. So just to say that we have this tool that is used for the competition, but it's also it's enhanced to deal with much more rewriting theories. So if you want to try in the web page, you are welcome also. Okay, that's all.
Okay.
It is okay.
Thank you. Then the NUT tool by Yamada-san. Is Yamada-san present? That doesn't seem to be the case, so maybe then I have to present his tool. Well, I mean, NUT is a well-known termination tool, became very powerful behind proof in the main category. The strongest tool in relative termination, perhaps, and the power comes from the Yamada-san. Who is speaking? Dare desu ka?
So, Kikao Shintani speaking.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm in mute.
Okay, so I continue. So NUT is famous for the weighted path of the technique, and this year Yamada-san decided to join in feasibility, and that's based on a Takas paper with Christian Sternagel, where they, as written here, had a very fast reachability criterion based on dependency graphs and usable rules. It's very fast, but also quite weak. And to make it working for INF, they simply ignore the conditions, which of course is a serious drawback because many of the problems have conditions, and then in feasibility, the answer depends on the feasibility of the conditions. So, and more changes had to be done to participate for NAT and CoCo, namely the COPS format. We have, unlike the termination competition, we don't have the XML format. We have a human readable format. Right. Okay, and if you want to download NAT, you can click here. Okay, so, and then finally the string rewrite system category. So no NoCo Leipzig here, I already mentioned that, but Confident joins this year and Fortify joins this as well, I think. Okay, maybe, yeah, we are almost done time-wise, so let's have a look at the results. Okay, we are almost done with the TRS category. So ACP is done, 100. CSI also, there don't seem to be any conflicts. Call Saigawa, I don't think can catch up. So this seems to be won by CSI. Commutation that stayed close until the very end. And based on this data, Call is the overall winner. Right, one problem more, but ACP is the winner in the no category, subcategory. Right, SRS, their CSI is ahead. And also in the yeses. Then, now it gets exciting. We have a yes-no conflict in the conditional term writing category. This conflict, if I hover over this link, is involving Confident, new tool that says yes, and ConCon that says no. Okay, so excitement at the end. So now the panel should become active and analyze this conflict. So maybe we should display this system. And this, of course, determines, the outcome of this category. Okay, I can click here, reload, and we go to CTRS. The problem was, what was the number again? The number was 1158. Okay, so this is one of the secret problems, and actually the one I already had on slide. Okay, so here the question is which tool is right. So ConCon said yes, and no. Confident said yes, and ConCon said no. Now, because ConCon didn't join as a normal tool, we don't have certification for this category. That might have solved the issue. So now it's really up to the panel to come to a conclusion. And it seems to be a relatively easy to analyze situation. Okay, maybe. Or maybe the panel member, Dieter also joined, thank you. Do you want to speak up? What is your interpretation of the correct answer? The semantics here, so this vertical bar, so the condition of this rule is on the right. So the semantics is fx, x is a variable, rewrites to the ground term GA, provided the substitution for x satisfies GX rewrites in a number of steps to x. And if you look at the rules, there is no rule for G. So GX, yeah, you can rewrite in X, but you cannot get rid of the G. So this condition cannot be fulfilled, I would say. So the first rule is never activated. So this conditional system looks to me equivalent to the second rule on its own, and that is confluent. So preliminary result here is that confident is right and ConCon is wrong. Okay, and that means confident, unless other problems appear not in the selected problems is declared the winner here. But yeah, I would say wait for the final results table where we confirm this, the SE and the panel. In feasibility, that was no surprise. That goes to InfChecker, both yes and no. But thanks not for participating. So competition lives from participation. NFP, that was not close at all. So CSI, because of the restrictions in FOD. UNC, ACP wins. It has more yeses and also more no's than CSI. Right, UNR, that, okay. So what Fabio mentioned, so FOD H still wins the yes subcategory of UNR. And ground confluence goes to AGP for the yeses and also for the no's. So also overall and certified, that goes to CSI plus CETA. Okay, so that's the outcome. Right, so I don't have to click here again. So now, yeah, we're almost out of time. So one slide with the outlook. So next year there is FLOC, so the Federated Logic Conference in Haifa, Israel. And CoCo, of course, will run at one of the events, or IWC, or one of the main conference. We have to decide what we'll do. And FLOC used to have Olympic Games where many more competitions join and hand out medals. So then it's always more yeah, rewarding. As already announced in the slides of Confident, there will be a new category. So context sensitive, rewriting the confluence of that will be introduced as new category in CoCo. So the SE with the Spanish team will come up with infrastructure to support this also in COPS. And yeah, we want to revive earlier categories. So higher order this year, no tool. I will push, but as I said, we are a friendly competition. So not like some other competitions where you're threatened if you're not participating. I will talk to Christian Stern. I will maybe ConCon can reappear, or maybe some other CTRS tool is willing to output certificates. And there is the nominal category. So higher order, of course, there are experts, right? In the Netherlands, Femke, Cynthia, who have access to students, and building a tool is an excellent student project. Also in France, there are several groups with a strong interest in confluence of various types of higher order. So if you want to join, contact the steering committee. Maybe we find common ground, because ideally we have a category with more than one participant. Nominal rewriting, I earlier saw Kikuchi-san in this workshop, so that's an obvious candidate. We have a tool from the ACP group that could rejoin, and Mauricio, I'm not sure whether he is listening, but he is still strongly interested in nominal rewriting, and the same holds for Maribel, who is based in London. Right, so that's it from my side. So yeah, enjoy, and to the tool builders, enjoy your well-deserved holiday. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and congratulations to all the winners and all the participants actually. Okay, so we have 2 more minutes, so if there is any question to ask to Aart, or if not, thank you again. Thank you very much, and yeah, let's get installed for the next talk.